Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Viola. Thank you so much for joining me today. What do Ciara, Viola Davis, Nicole Parker, and I have in common? We manifested true love by preparing ourselves first. I've been reading this book called Calling the One. If you've been watching my videos, you know I talk about this book a lot because it has really helped me check how I've been stopping myself from love, basically. You know, we always try to make it look like, oh, there are no good partners out there, you know, woe is me, everybody else has somebody but not me. But sometimes you're actually the one keeping yourself away from love. But don't let me preempt myself. So, and in this book, you know, she, the author, said to ask yourself 3 questions. What does the fulfillment of love look like for you? What barriers have you built against that vision, and who do you need to become to manifest that vision? Now I'm going to answer them just to give you an idea of, you know, how to answer these questions. And for me, what does the fulfillment of love look like for me? It's safe, right? It's me in the arms of a man who I can trust to cover me and protect me. It's me curled up on his lap. It's me just safe, you know, just safe in his arms, just laughing and playing with him and knowing that I am protected, that I'm covered, that I can trust him. Now, what barriers did I build against that love? Well, I come from a very conservative culture, and I was surrounded by women who were basically bullied by men, you know, and women who were so dependent on men that they had no life outside of them, and so because of that the men treated them badly. And I saw these women, right? I saw them become a shadow of themselves. I saw what relying on men did to them, and I saw how they lived their lives like victims. And even as a young child and a young girl, I decided unconsciously, but it was a decision that I made, that I was never going to rely on a man, because relying on a man means you're going to get embarrassed and disgraced and end up a victim, and you're going to suffer. Now, I didn't know that I had made that decision, right? It was unconscious. But I noticed that I would literally tell men that I don't need a man. I'm strong enough. I may not use those exact words, but I would basically paint a picture of my life with no space for the man in it. I would make it look like I'm capable enough to live my life, just stay out of my way. You know, but I wanted a safe love, right? I wanted somebody to cover me and protect me, but there's no way that would happen if I was not vulnerable enough to rely on somebody, because you can't really be in love truly and not trust each other and not rely on each other, you know. So those were the barriers that I built, unconscious barriers. I had no idea how I was putting myself out in the world. I just started to notice that I was having the same conversations over and over again with men who liked me, but then I'd be wondering why they didn't commit. You know, sometimes it's just because they're emotionally unavailable, but another time it's because I'm saying the wrong things, and I want them, but I'm saying I don't want them. And finally, who am I willing to become to manifest, you know, true love? And I'm willing to become a vulnerable woman. I'm willing to be safe, to be open to, you know, to basically be open to love, to let down my guard. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be stupid and just open my heart to every random person who comes in. I'm saying that after somebody has shown that he has good intentions for me, and somebody has shown that he is, you know, the kind of person that I could be vulnerable with, then I should open up, right? And obviously also, I mean, sometimes I'd meet guys the first 3 days, and I'm telling him everything about my goals, my dreams, my visions, how I'm not going to cook for anybody, I have such a big dream, I have no time to keep home, and all of that. Like, it's none of his business. And we just met. Like, why am I telling him all my business after meeting him for 3 days? It's like I'm just warning him, look, don't get in my way, stay out of my way, I don't need you, I just want to live my life. But then I'd be surprised, okay, why didn't this work out? But it didn't work out because I scared the guy away, because I'm, you know, attracting these men who need a woman who they can cover, but I'm telling them I don't want to be covered. You know, so it was just weird, because I want this thing, but I'm not acting like I want it. So I'm now being deliberate about just being more vulnerable and being more open, and just creating an atmosphere where a man can cover me and can be a safe space for me. So yeah. So first of all, obviously you need to answer these questions for yourself. And just be honest, right? You're talking to yourself here. You don't need to tell anybody, but if you can't be, if you can't be true to yourself, then it means you don't really want what you say you want. So first question, what does the fulfillment of love look like for you? Go there in your mind's eye. I literally saw myself sitting in my husband's, lap and just curled up against his chest. What barriers have you built to love? I remember seeing a quote about how, your job is not to chase love, it's to remove all the barriers on the inside that you've built against it rather. And the final thing is, who are you going to become? On the other side of the love that you want is an identity switch. You're going to need to change some things if you really do want this love. Now, we're going to go into the steps that you need to do to prepare your heart and your life for true love. And the first one is something that Ciara, Nicole Parker, and Viola Davis did, and that I am doing. And that is to get absolutely clear on what you want. Be absolutely clear about what you want. We all know about Ciara's prayer and how she wrote a list and she prayed to God. Viola Davis as well, if you've watched her interview with Oprah, it's on Netflix, you should watch it, it's amazing. She talks about how she also wrote a list and prayed, and she told God she wanted a big black man, and she wanted a man who already had children because she didn't want to be stressed about having children. And she basically listed everything she wanted, and not long after she met him. And the one I personally love the most, my favorite, is Nicole Parker. Somebody asked her on Instagram that what prayer did she pray to get Boris Kodjoe? She's married to the Boris Kodjoe, And she said she also, she was praying and God told her to write a list. And after she'd written everything, and God told her, write everything you want. Write his looks, write everything you want from him. And she did. And she was excited that, yay, I want him to be fine. I want him, to be all of that. And then when she was done writing the list, God told her to look at that list and ask herself if she was a woman who could be comfortable being beside that kind of man. And she knew she wasn't. So she set to work on improving her life, on fixing whatever needed to be fixed, on just aligning herself with the man she wanted. So if you're serious about preparing yourself for true love, you first of all have to get very clear on what you want. Very clear. Who exactly is it that you want to be with? What does he look like? What does he feel like? What does he do for a living? Just write your own list, right? And then ask yourself the honest question. Are you in a place today that if that man walked up to you and said, be mine, would you be able to handle it? Sometimes we say we can handle things, but then it comes into our lives and it sets us out of balance. This man has to come into your life and just fit. He has to slide right in place. You can't be unsettled. You can't be wavered. There has to be balance when he comes into your life, because otherwise you're not ready. So write your list and then ask yourself, honestly, are you where you need to be able to accommodate that kind of man, to be able to be loved by that kind of man? Because it's not just about loving him now, it's about being able to receive his love. The next step is to process all of your pain and disappointments. We've all been through something. There's baggage that you're carrying around, there's hurt, there's unforgiveness, there's just grudges, there's just people who have rejected you or disappointed you or betrayed you. There are people who have done really nasty things to you. You've been through a lot. And it's okay, it wasn't your fault, you didn't choose it. But you need to process your pain and your disappointments, and you need to drop that baggage, because look, the people who hurt you, they've moved on with their lives, and it'll be unfair to you. It's like double trouble, right? For them to hurt you, move on with their lives, and then you are still carrying around that pain and that hurt, and it's blocking you, right? I've seen in my life how holding on to baggage has just blocked me from things, and until I let those things go, until I moved on from those things, I wasn't able to access some blessings, to move to the next level in some areas of my life. Holding on to that pain and disappointment, you're just injuring yourself over and over again. You're hurting yourself over and over again. It's time to process it. Sit with it. Get therapy. Therapy is good. Get therapy. Sit with it. Journal. Cry it all out and let it go. If you're hurting, you're likely to hurt whoever comes into your life, or at least block them because you don't feel deserving. So if you want to attract healthy relationships of any kind, and especially true love, you need to process your pain and your disappointments. You need to be honest with yourself about how you felt and commit to your healing, so that you can be comfortable being loved by somebody else. The next thing you should do is get rid of all the fakes, right? If you want true love, you need to get rid of all the counterfeits in your life. And every woman at some point or the other has somebody who's just an umbrella brother who's just taking up space and getting boyfriend privileges that he shouldn't be getting. You're spending all your time on the phone with him. You're going on dates that he won't call dates. You're investing yourself emotionally and mentally. You're doing all this stuff without any commitment. Get rid of that. Get rid of all the situationships. Get rid of all the friends with benefits. Clean your life of all the drama, right? If you want true love, if you want the real thing, you have to get rid of all the fakes that are occupying space in your life. Because my friend puts it this way, is that she doesn't want to confuse her angels. If you have something that looks like love in your life, I mean, it's just weird, right? It's better for it to be empty. An empty space, clean, swept clean of every kind of drama. If you're not sure what you're doing, if it's confusing in any way, if there's any suspicion, just get rid of all the fakes. If you want the original, you have to get rid of all the fakes. If a man wants you, you will know. If he doesn't want you, you'll be confused. All the people who are confusing you in your life, get rid of them. Period. Open up your life to the real thing by getting rid of the wrong thing. The next thing you want to do is to get in alignment, right? You want true love. You want to be loved. There's nothing wrong with it. I feel like sometimes women are shamed for wanting to be loved and wanting to be in a healthy relationship, and it's a natural human feeling. It's a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. So if you want true love, you need to start acting like somebody who wants true love. And I'm not saying jump on the main road or jump on the street and start screaming, come and love me. I'm saying start to act like it, right? Start to optimize your life for it. One thing that I also read in Calling in the One is how sometimes even the way we design our homes shows that we like the solo lifestyle. We're not interested in welcoming anybody else in. And she talks about how if you have a small bed that can fit only you, you're probably pushing love away. If you don't have 2 pillows, if there's no room in your house for somebody else to fit in, even if it's just you living there, basically start to make room in your life. Get in alignment with what you say you want. If you want to be with somebody who's a musician, just putting it out there, start to attend shows. Start to go to open mic nights. If you want to just put yourself in this something. I'm a filmmaker, and there's something in film that they call a diegetic world, which means it fits into that world, right? So put yourself into the shoes of somebody who wants a relationship. Behave like it. Get in alignment with what you say you want. There's something called cognitive dissonance, and that is you say you want one thing but you're behaving in a different way. So stop joining people to say men are trash. If you really want to be in a relationship, stop saying men are trash. Stop acting in ways that are contrary to a person who wants to attract true love. Start to act like somebody who does want true love, right? Stop rehashing heartbreaks and pain. This is something that I told myself recently, that I'm not the poster child for heartbreaks. I'm not the poster child for bad relationships. I dropped that identity. I don't want it anymore. And because obviously I was in a few bad relationships, and I wrote a book called Love to My Ex, I unconsciously took on that role of the one who was always talking about breakups and heartbreaks and bad relationships and bad men. And I just there was this TED talk I watched about switching your identity, and she said how she was always going around giving speeches about how you can escape from molestation, you can survive molestation, you can grow after molestation. And then one day somebody saw her and said, "Oh, you're the molestation lady," and she was like, "No, don't call me that." And she knew there was a problem. She had to fix it because she was functioning in her dysfunction, and she had become comfortable in a life she didn't really want. And it really hit me because I also always talking about breakups and heartbreaks and bad men, and I just decided, I don't want I remember I was going to do a video about being celibate for 7 years, and I decided, and I was going to talk about how to sustain celibacy, and I'm like, no, I'm not sustaining celibacy. By the end of this year, I will be having sex, I will be in a relationship, and I will be married. So I'm not talking about celibacy anymore because it's not my life anymore. I'm not a poster child for celibacy. I'm not a poster child for singleness. I'm not a poster child for heartbreak or breakups or any of that. I'm done with that identity. I'm switching it now. I'm a person who's loved, who wants to be loved, who is in a healthy relationship, who's attracting true love. And that is the way that I'm going to be showing up in the world. So if you want love, you need to get in alignment with what you want and start to behave like it. And finally, build healthy platonic relationships. Your platonic relationships are usually a sign, rather the state of your platonic relationships are usually a hint to how your love life is or is going to be. All the times that I wasn't, attracting, or I wasn't in healthy relationships, it was showing my platonic relationships. I wasn't emotionally available in those relationships. I was closed off. I was walled off. I wasn't really engaging with people. I had all these layers, that I hid behind. So I knew, right, that my relationship with my friends and my family, the way that I handle that was also going to be the way that I was going to handle a relationship, like a romantic relationship. So build healthy platonic relationships. Enjoy being around people. Surround yourself with love, right? Like attracts like. If you surround yourself with platonic love, romantic love will come. It's for sure. So be more intentional about building healthy platonic relationships. I know that a lot of people get introduced to their significant other by their friends. I'm not saying start making friends because you want them to introduce you to a man. I'm just saying that there's just something about having a community and being part of a community that just heals your heart and fills your love tank. And that's what you want to do, because if your love tank is empty, you're going to step into the world with a hungry heart and you're going to attract the wrong kind of people. But if your love tank is full, you're used to attracting love, platonic love even, you will attract even more love. So build healthy platonic relationships. Mend fences. If there's anybody you need to fix things with, fix them. If they're toxic people that you need to kick out of your life, kick them out of your life. Just fix your relationships as much as you can, and it will open you up, to healthy love of different kinds. Thanks so much for watching this video. I feel like I said that so fast. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Is there any point that resonated with you? Are you going to start trying these things that I said? And yeah, I'm definitely doing all of these things, and I'm going to let you guys know very, very soon what happens, because I'm expecting something to happen. I'm expecting Mr. Right to show up any minute now. So I will share him with you guys, because you're like first on the scene. You got a sneak peek of how I am deliberately, trying to attract true love. So thank you for being on this journey with me, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.